very much, Carlos, for inviting me to talk very briefly about our new practice recommendation and consolidated guidelines. We have an existing practice recommendation which we had in place since, in fact, it's 2011. I'm sorry about that. Where we had what's called a conditional recommendation, and that, in kind of WHO speak, means that we can recommend it, but we really consider it should be looked at in pilot projects with very careful monitoring and evaluation. When we had our guidelines meeting for our consolidated key populations guideline in October last year, the group, and we have Carlos as a member of the group, and Dr. Jana is part of our team, and various constituents in our group, which was about 50% community members, and then academics, researchers, implementers. It wasn't a prep group at all, it was a key populations group. But that group requested that WHO re-looked at their prep recommendation. And they wanted us to consider it in the 4 key populations, but in a very different manner. For the sex worker recommendation, the sex worker community and members of the guidelines group who work with sex workers said we are not ready to change that recommendation at this time. We don't think that there's enough values and preferences information available, and they requested additional time to do that work. And they also were aware that various demonstration projects were being started and thought about, and they felt that it would be important to learn more from those before reconsidering the condition recommendation. Very similar for the transgender community. Although transgender women were included in IPREX, the numbers were very few, and although biologically, there was little doubt that the efficacy would be the same. Again, there was discussion about the need to have more transgender women included in pilot studies and really learn from that, and also learn more about their values and preferences. The group felt very strongly that we should look at MSM. They felt that time had elapsed since that recommendation. There was further implementation experience, and really, I think what swayed the group to decide this was a priority for us to relook at this recommendation was that current strategies for MSM weren't working, that there remains to be significant incidence in mental health of men virtually everywhere in the world, and really prevention strategy was needed. There had previously not been a WHO consideration of PrEP for the prevention of transmission for injectable drug users, and so the WHO was requested to look at that, to look at the evidence, obviously primarily from the Bangkok Tenofia study, but also to explore values and preferences from people who inject drugs. So we commissioned systematic reviews from Johns Hopkins, and these studies were looked at, and in addition to the systematic reviews that's been done for the 2011 guidelines, there wasn't a huge amount of additional information, but the other information we got was mostly on safety and adverse events, and that was very reassuring. For the recommendation for people who inject drugs, there was the only the Bangkok Tenofia study to look at. Obviously, when that is examined in the grade process, that gives us moderate strength of evidence. for WHO recommendations, the scientific evidence which we look at in the grading process is one of the features. But in the key populations guidelines, because we're working with key populations, and for the guidelines and for recommendations to be useful, the values and preferences of the community groups are very, very important. And so, for men who have sex with men, we did a systematic review of the literature, and there was really quite a substantial amount of evidence of published studies looking at values and preferences towards PrEP. There were 38 peer-reviewed articles and 17 conference abstracts on this area. We also asked MSM Global Forum to do some qualitative work and also relook at data that they had from a large online survey. And when we took all of this evidence together, again, it was reassuring that there was considerable interest in PrEP and considerable interest in having that as an additional prevention choice. When we looked at people who inject drugs, it was a very different picture. There was only one study in the published literature, which was amongst 128 who inject drugs in Ukraine, and it was done in a very hypothetical way before there was any evidence of efficacy. We then commissioned, in conjunction with the network of people who inject drugs, some in-depth qualitative work, which was overwhelmingly negative towards men at this stage. And this was also reflected in the guidelines group and subsequently in our peer review group. And the feeling was that even though assessment of the evidence was that it is efficacious in preventing transmission through injection drug use, that existing harm reduction interventions, needle syringe programs and methadone are highly efficacious and have additional benefits and are more cost effective and are currently very poorly implemented. And for WHO at this time to recommend PrEP was felt to be a distraction from our continued push to have countries adopt harm reduction. So, as I say, looking at our decision making, which we had our meeting in March this year to decide, and we came out with our recommendation that for men who have sex with men, we would give what's called a strong recommendation, which means that we recommend it to be considered in any context. We made a new recommendation for people who inject drugs, and we put on hold further recommendations for sex workers and transgender women, but very much committed to reviewing this when there was additional evidence, both from values and preferences and from implementation. And we can do this, as it ends up, the Consolidated Key Populations Guidelines is a rolling process, and we can do this at any stage when we're asked to do this. So as I say, those are our two recommendations. One thing that I think we have learned at WHO is we're not very good at our media work, because when these recommendations came out, we were very misquoted in the press. So when WHO proposed the strong recommendation, this was interpreted in many of the newspaper articles as WHO is insisting that all men take PrEP for every moment of their life. So I think we've myself and my colleague, Glenn Thomas, who unfortunately perished, coming to this conference, he and I have spent since we released their guidelines endless hours talking to the press, trying to explain that this was an additional prevention choice and should be very much in that context. We want open the doors for this to be available, but very much as a choice. So I'm just going to briefly say our work. We work with Carlos, and we have work funds under Bill and Melinda Gates to support demonstration projects for PrEP. At the moment, in Nigeria, with serious school couples. In Kenya, with sex workers, men have sex with men, and young women at risk. And in India, Dr. Janet here is going to speak much more eloquently than I can on this, in both street and brothel-based sex worker projects. We're also have links with brothel-based sex worker PrEP demonstration projects in South Africa, and we're also exploring a potential another demonstration project